In fact, the day we wrapped up the film, I remember I was eating dinner and I was like, oh, the film is done. There was going to be like a get together and a party, and we were in Lucknow, and I got a call from Shah Rukh sir, and he's such a gracious man. He just called me to thank me, and I'm like, dude, you're Shah Rukh Khan.
Anytime soon do we see you and Shah Rukh?
I hope. It's my biggest manifestation since I was a child. So I really, really hope.
Is there like any particular kind of a genre that you want to do with him?
Listen, romance.
That's a given.
I mean, yeah, it has to be romance. It's Shah Rukh.
Have you at least like slipped in the idea?
Every interview I say it, so I really hope someday it reaches him.
Hi guys, my name is Dishya and you're watching News 18 Showsha. Today we have with us Bhumi Pednekar talking about her upcoming movie Bhakshak. Hi Bhumi, how are you?
I'm good, how are you?
Like I said before we started this, that your performance in the movie is so powerful. And there were so many scenes that I personally felt very moved. I wanted to know that after finishing the movie, how long did it take for you to actually detach from the movie?
I don't think I can ever detach from the film, because the film is inspired by real events, and these events are still happening. Every day you read of some kind of sexual misconduct happen to women, children. The film specifically speaks about children, but you always see that. So I just feel I can never move past the film, because I'm always haunted of that experience. But I finished this film and I immediately went into a film in a genre that was so opposite of it that I didn't really get a lot of time to change gears, because of dates. So there's so many things. So yeah, maybe that also helped me, because I just had to like disconnect and really force myself of just switching gears.
The movie is very challenging. Even as an audience, it took me a moment to I had to pause the movie, take a breather, and then go back to it. While you were making the movie, what were those scenes that are the most difficult to shoot for you?
Technically, whenever I'm doing the reporting, those are like long scenes, and they are all like one take into the camera, and especially the end of the film, because that monologue, it was, I think, a 4.5 to 5 minute monologue, and I got those sides a day before.
Oh.
Yeah, and I was like, and this is not the Hindi that I speak. My Hindi is very different from the Hindi that I'm speaking in the film. So I had to put in a lot of hard work, and I had cold feet. I was like, how am I going to do this? But when I sat on that chair and I was like, okay, this is my final hurrah. And we actually shot it like towards the end of the film. So I had gone through a lot in the film already. And everything that my character was saying was what I believed in. What was the spirit of the film, and words just kept flowing, and I was in shock. And towards the end of it, I literally was like about to like tear up, and I was like kind of holding it together, and all of this can't be. It was truly one of like the toughest things that I've done. But emotionally, what really took a toll on me was the scene that happens right before this, where the girls are rescued.
Oh yeah.
For many reasons, because I had done a lot of research that my director and my writers, Pulkita and Jyotsna, had done, came to me. Now look, it's research, but this is what somebody has actually gone through. Not somebody, many children have gone through, and what they went through was quite heinous. I can't even speak about it. I could not even go through most of those papers, because I was like, I can't. How you had to like take a stop. The film is a way sanitized version. The film has to make you uncomfortable, or it's not going to make you think the way you and I are still impacted by it. A lot of our actions in the future, if you are somebody who is impacted by the film, I think would change in the way we think, in the way we process things, in our actions. And in that scene, when I see those kids, it was a lot. Because हमने इतने बार न्यूज़ चैनल्स पे देखा है छोटी बच्चों के हम चेहरे बांध के आ रहे हैं, क्योंकि ये सब होता है. There was so much of that information, and I was like, ऐसे ही हुआ होगा ना, ऐसे ही लाए होंगे उन बच्चियों को बाहर. It was a lot for me.
Somewhere I read that your mom was an anti-tobacco activist. I don't know if I read it right.
Yeah, she feels very strongly about it, because I did lose my Yeah.
Yeah, I remember reading about it. I wanted to understand that in the movie, while you're playing the role of a journalist, there also are hints of activists. There are a few scenes, I'm not going to reveal
Yes.
what those are, but did you get a chance to talk to your mom about this movie and, maybe discuss these things?
My
with her?
mom actually reads every script of mine.
Oh,
Yeah. I would say 90% of my films that she's read, and her judgment never goes wrong. The few times that I've not listened to her is when I've missed the mark. I don't know how, and it's not just because she's a mother. She's a very, very refined mind as well, and I'm very fortunate to have that energy in my life. She's an ally in my career. Professionally, she's an ally to me. So obviously, and I'm actually that person. Even in my real life, I'm always standing up for things. And that activism is something that I find a lot of pride in. So it could be what I do for the environment, or Climate Warrior, which is like my advocacy platform, or what we did. Actually, when I was shooting for Son Chidiya, I kind of adopted this ashram in Chambal.
Yeah, I remember.
And that's why the story is so personal to me, because those are rescued kids. And when a film came my way that spoke to a larger audience, I just had to do it, because I've lived their stories. They are my children. So it's very, very personal to me.
This film is also backed by Red Chillies, and
Yes.
we got Shah Rukh sir and got
Yes.
ma'am's name attached
Yes.
to it. Did you get a chance to discuss after the movie was made? Have they seen the movie?
Of course. In fact, the day we wrapped up the film, I remember I was eating dinner and I was like, oh, the film is done. There was going to be like a get together and a party, and we were in Lucknow, and I got a call from Shah Rukh sir, and he's such a gracious man. He just called me to thank me, and I'm like, dude, you're Shah Rukh Khan. And like, kudos to Red Chillies for supporting this film. It's a film, and they supported this film right away. Like, they saw the material, they are like, this is a story we want should be presented by our platform. Kudos to Netflix for taking a film like this. Obviously we've seen similar content on their platform, like a Delhi crime. I feel the narrative, it's very close to that. Obviously that was a series, this is a film. But the way that series got so much moving in you, this film does as well.
We've seen now that you've collaborated as an actor in his production house. Anytime soon do we see you and Shah Rukh?
I hope. It's my biggest manifestation since I was a child. So I really, really hope.
Is there like any particular kind of a genre that you want to do with him?
Listen, romance.
That's a given.
I mean, yeah, it has to be romance. It's Shah Rukh.
Have you at least like slipped in the idea?
Every interview I say it, so I really hope someday it reaches him.
Manifesting it for you to do.
Yes.
This movie also has a very, very nicely done tone of feminism as well.
Yes.
It's while we're talking about children, we also see the feminism aspect from it. And given that you've done so many movies with these undertones of feminism, I wanted to know from you, what do you think, or what is your definition of feminism?
My definition of feminism is literally just equality for all. And for me, feminism is not gender specific. It is equality for all genders. And absolutely, and I feel like people really shy away from the conversation, and there's a lot of negative light suddenly that the word has. Because people shy away from calling themselves a feminist. Why? We are living in a world where the gender power is skewed. We need to acknowledge that. We can't behave like, oh no, we aren't in a patriarchal society. We are in a patriarchal society. Yes, there are many men that are feminists as well, because feminism is not a concept for women. Feminism is a concept for everyone. So there are many men that are feminists as well. But we need many, many more. So through various themes in many of my films, I don't think I've ever done a film that kind of does not harp on this conversation. I think most of the characters that I play are feminists.
That's why when I was making the questions, I was like, you're the best person right now to talk about the subject.
Thank you so much. Thank you. It truly is a big compliment for me, because I genuinely want my work to kind of bring about that change. Look, there were many generations that worked hard through their conversation and their work for this world to be this safe and equal for me. I want to create the same for the future generations to come. And this is not my journey alone. There are many women, I think all women in this room, many men also, that are trying to bring about that change, and we'll be at it.
I recently spoke to Swanand Kirkare ji, and we were discussing about so many things. One of them was about how taking criticism, especially from social media. So do you think that nowadays the idea of accepting criticism is becoming a little more lesser? Like, is it difficult to have a conversation or criticize someone and get it into a conversation rather than point fingers at each other?
No, there's no scope for a conversation, right? Because it's a comment. What is our mode of communication? It's social media, right? There is no other way of communication left today. So it's literally somebody's left a comment. Who is that person? He's a faceless person who's not even making a legitimate point. They're commenting on my body parts, on a picture that has nothing to do with that. So how can I take that person seriously?
That's true.
And honestly, even since before my first film, I'm used to trolling. That time the ways were different, now the ways are different. I think all women in general are. You just deal with either they're trolls in your family or they're trolls at work. You just deal with it, right? So, and definitely I think for me, social media trolling is not criticism. Because there's so many opinions and I can't cater to all. I tried doing it. I was miserable and very, very unhappy.
Oh, no.
The person I am is my truest, most authentic self. Maybe it makes people uncomfortable right now, but eventually it will make people comfortable, because people can't accept change easily. And my art will always keep growing, and the roles that I do in my films don't define the person that I am, and the person that I am will not define the roles that I do in my cinema.
Very nicely put.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for talking to me. Thank you so much.
Thank you.